Well, good day! So for today, we're gonna do another quick little video about the Boy of Steel. That's right, the first official TV appearance of Superboy, which was in cartoon form, but still really awesome. So, as per usual, let's recap the episode. I will say some things about what I think about the episode, and then we'll get into some more things about what happened behind the scenes with the show and all that stuff after. So, alright, let's go! So this episode starts off with Krypto, the Superdog, who's just waiting around, for his his Kryptonian humanoid companion, Clark Kent, to be finished with the day of school, when suddenly some green alien guy just kind of materializes out of nowhere, and he uses this crazy fancy space pen to make a dormant volcano start pumping out the liquid hot magma, which is horrible, and Krypto's like, holy jeez, Berkery. So he goes and gets Clark to play hooky from Smallville High School to solve this problem, to which they do. Clark, just completely out in the open for anybody to see, changes into his Superboy uniform, and together they go dig a trench around this mountain to stave off any kind of danger. But then Space Kermit comes back and he shoots a space ray gun into the clouds, and bam! You have this super insane thunderstorm just destroying farmhouses and like everything around. So Superboy and Krypto do some fancy go-go dancing by the looks of it to stop the storm by creating a vortex, and well, that saves the day. Seriously, man, dude's got some pretty awesome little dance moves there. So eventually Superboy and Krypto confront this guy, but he just flies off in a tornado. Convenient. But Superboy busts him and then takes him to see the police chief. We learn that this alien is a part of an alien invasion force from another solar system to stop Earth from what and for what reason? No idea, but we'll never know because Space Kermit just beams away and he's gone, saying that he'll be back with the invasion force. So, great, we're screwed, right? Or, maybe not, because Superboy and Krypto fly to that alien's home planet. Like, how the hell do they even know where it is? Like, we have no indication, and it's one planet in another solar system. Like, man, that could be anywhere, like any solar system. Scientifically baffling. But regardless, they find this needle in a haystack of a planet, but Superboy grows weak when he gets to this planet for some reason. We find out pretty quick it's because that planet is orbiting a red sun, which really doesn't give Superboy any powers. And for some silly reason that we don't know why even the aliens are baffled at, Krypto is not affected by this sun in any way, even though he himself is Kryptonian and is powered by the yellow sun of, our solar system. But I don't know, is it his fur that stops the red sun rays? I don't know. Anyway, a weakened Superboy is put in the detention dome while the alien invasion fleet takes off for Earth's conquest. That is the end of this first little episode. What will happen on this cliffhanger ending? Well, our second episode starts off with Krypto going to get some space paint to cover the dome and in turn block the rays of the red sun. Must be some lead-based paint or some other component that the aliens put in there to make their paint really shine. Regardless, the two Kryptonian friends steal the painted dome and escape this unknown planet back to Earth to stop the invasion. The alien space commandant is sending ships one by one to inflict some damage on Earth, kind of as a test of strength. Yeah, I guess. They use some pretty interesting devices like a giant magnifying glass to start some forest fires, a spinning top which creates a hurricane kind of water spout to deprive the planet of its water somehow. But these things are no match for Superboy and Krypto, who come back to Earth just in time to stop any kind of destruction that they're doing here with these kind of super fantastic weapons. And Captain Space Jerk is like, damn this meddlesome kid! I'll show them! I'll turn on the anti-gravity generators! Which is actually a pretty awesome weapon, like everyone on Earth is just kind of floating around, All except for Superboy and Krypto, because, they can fly around and all that, right? Like,
Superboy's pretty pissed off at this point. He and Krypto fly up in space and they just beat the crap out of these ships from the invasion fleet, so they retreat. I don't know how long it took them to plan this invasion, but it's quickly defeated by just one angry kid. Well, not angry, I guess fed up, and rightfully so. So the invasion of Earth is stopped. We're all saved. Will the aliens ever figure out that it was the rays of the red sun that kind of stopped Superboy at the first time, and would they replicate that and, stop him before they invade the Earth again? Well, I guess we'll never know. So with the day saved and with that question kind of left out in the open, that's the end of this fantastic episode.
So yeah, right? Like, it is what it is, eh? So, like, these Superboy episodes were only 5 minutes long. This being a two-parter was a 10-minute episode. So, like, the story they told and how quickly they got everything together to tell you a whole story was, actually pretty good considering. And it had some pretty neat concepts too, right? Like the whole alien invasion. It is kind of neat. They kind of did really kind of have like an overconfidence kind of complex with the aliens. Well, the non-Kryptonian aliens anyway, I guess. It's like they came to Earth with all these things that they thought were totally devastating to the planet, and then they just got stopped super easy. It's kind of like they thought they were better than they were. It was a pretty cool attack though. Like, you don't need a giant bomb or anything if you use the power of the Earth against the Earth. That's kind of like, a pretty good kind of easy way to do things. Like, that concept is neat, but against Superboy, it's like the aliens would be like, we have this giant bomb to destroy your planet, what are you going to do? And we'd be like, oh, that's just a firecracker, like, we let kids play with that thing. Stuff like that. And the whole concept of sidekicks, well, in anywhere, in TV or in comics, like, you have an adult superhero and their sidekick usually is like a teenager or like a young adult. And if you're a teenager, like, well, who's your sidekick gonna be? Like, you can't have like a toddler as your sidekick or something ridiculous like that. So to have a sidekick as a dog, that, like, is totally perfect, right? It's still a really cool dynamic that you don't see a whole lot, but you still do. I'll get into that later. So yeah, like, if you haven't watched these Superboy episodes, I would recommend them. Like I say, they're 5 minutes, they're really quick. They tell a really quick story, but the story, well, yeah, for the most part makes sense, and it's, logical in its own way, I guess. So yeah. And with that, let's see what else we can dig up about Superboy and all that other kind of stuff.
So the Adventures of Superboy was not its own, like, full-length episode TV series. It was a short 5 to 6 segment in a different TV series, which had a different name in each season that it was around. In the first season, it was called The New Adventures of Superman. In season 2, it was called The Superman Aquaman Hour of Adventure. And in the third season, it was referred to as The Batman Superman Hour. So it's pretty cool to see, like, the main story of the other adult heroes, and then you have this quick little teenage Superman kind of story kind of shoved in there. So yeah, pretty good, kind of intro for the character into the world. Well, in the world of television anyway. He's been in the comics for a while. Okay, so the whole premise of this featured episode, an alien invasion, well, that's nothing really new at the point that the episode came out. There were many movies in the 1950s that had alien invasion or alien visitation of some sort. Like, let's say, classics like The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Day the Earth Stood Still, The War of the Worlds, and the ever infamous Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is just a tremendously odd movie. But right, like, those are just some examples of, movies that this episode is kind of based on, and movies that would still, kind of be fresh in everyone's head at this point, even though that whole specific genre of sci-fi invasion movies kind of stopped being popular, like, around 10 years ago to this point in, 1966? So yeah, still, kind of a pretty good idea to kind of run with that storyline. The other awesome part of this episode is the animal companionship. Like, who didn't have a pet at some point in their life, right? Like, cat or a dog or like a goldfish, a hamster, whatever, right? Like, yeah, we've all had a pet at some point. Even those kids in the 70s having a pet rock, at least that was something. And Krypto is an awesome companion. And he is basically kind of a character of the time, right? Like, there was the ever classic Lassie television show, which was going on at this time, where Lassie is like a super genius dog. Well, by dog standards, I guess. Always trying to help out with any problem, if anyone needed help, Lassie was there to help out, right? So that's a pretty good companionship comparison with Krypto and in Superboy, even to the point where Superboy has some classic Lassie-esque kind of dialogue with Krypto, like Superboy tries to figure out what Krypto was barking, which is similar, you know, in the Lassie show of like, what's that, Lassie? Timmy fell down the well. Oh my gosh, you know? And even slightly just prior to these Superboy cartoon series, there were other really famous dogs that were awesome like that as well. Like Rin Tin Tin was a pretty cool dog. Old Yeller was a pretty famous dog as well, you know, before the end part of the movie happened with him. And even in Canada, man, we had this pretty awesome TV series called The Littlest Hobo about this dog going from town to town just solving crime better than the human law enforcement officials, which was great. And what a great theme song of that show too. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to settle down. Oh man. And that show was based somewhat on a 1958 American movie of the same name, but you know, man, the Krypto was definitely a child of that times, man. With all the dags and all that. And really, even at that time, it wasn't even just dogs. You had like all these other shows as well about other animals, like Flipper the dolphin, like Lassie, but underwater. Mr. Ed the horse, you know, he was a pretty cool horse. Of course, of course. And even at the time of the featured episode, you had this newcomer called Gentle Ben the bear, you know? So animals were pretty, you know, hip and cool at this time to have in your show, and that even translated to the comics. Like, my god, man, you had so many super-powered animals in DC Comics, like specifically surrounding Superboy and other super Kryptonians. There was Comet the super horse, dude looked pretty cool. Streaky the cat who hung out with Supergirl, and Beepo the super my notes say super shrimp, but I must have just hit a typo. That's Beepo the super chimp. Although super shrimp at this point wouldn't surprise me. But with those four animals, they were in a group their own called the League of Super Pets, which is really comically wonderful. Which is, you know, like a pretty cute kind of thing, you know? Even some other superheroes got their own super pets. The most famous one out of that, outside of all the Superman kind of themed ones, would be Ace the Bat Hound, who of course is Batman's dog, the Bloodhound, the detective. So these and other animals were featured in the Krypto the Superdog TV show, which debuted in 2005. We have even seen Superboy and Krypto make their live-action team-up in the Titans TV series, and one that I'm actually kind of looking forward to is in 2022. Oh, that's this year. There will be another animated movie of the DC League of Super Pets, which will star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Krypto and Kevin Hart as Ace the Bat Hound, along with a lot of other kind of super animals that will, you know, be in there, but you know, pretty awesome stuff. So for the more kind of full history of Superboy and Krypto in comics and TV and all that, I did do a bit more of detail in my Adventures of Superboy failed TV pilot episode. And just for fun fact, that failed TV pilot of Superboy happened before this Adventures of Superboy cartoon show, which would make this show the official first appearance of Superboy in some kind of a television capacity outside of comics, you know? So pretty good. So just a really quick, long story short on Superboy's history is that the original Superboy is young Clark Kent growing up in Smallville, and since the 90s, the new version of Superboy is a clone with DNA shared from Superman and Lex Luthor. He first debuted during the Reign of Superman storyline following Superman's death, and has been pretty popular ever since. And so yeah, and other than that, I guess that's that. Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.